so easy every day. Living in Lubbock, the one and only LBK.
We got rock and roll, we got the blues, we can honky-tonk in our cowboy boots. And through the dust in the rearview mirror you can see our rhythm and roots. And through the dust in the rearview mirror you can see our rhythm and roots. Rhythm and Roots. That's a great name you came up with, Jason.
Well, you know, the idea for the song was trying to tie in music with the history, you know, and it took a while to come up with the name. It seemed so easy, but
I know
it took
we were
me a while.
thinking of all kinds of things, and then all of a sudden you just, I don't know if you texted me or called me or what, but it just was like, duh, Rhythm and Roots. That's
I know, it was
absolutely perfect.
After 2 weeks of trying to figure it out, the name was right there.
Yeah, well, you always wanted to do Roots. That was something that...
Roots was the, you know, the key word that was always in my mind for the idea of the show.
And that is dumb that it took forever to get rhythm. That seems so normal now.
Well, and you know, when we were writing the song, we really wanted to showcase the Lubbock musical roots. And so the first two lines of the song are titles to Buddy Holly songs.
Yeah, we were intent on that, and I think that worked out pretty good.
And then I think the rearview mirror, tying in the Mac Davis Lubbock in the rearview mirror.
And the dirt. You can't forget about the dirt.
The dirt.
No, you can't.
So,
but today is a nice day.
It is a nice day. You know, the main idea for the show, I think for me, and I don't know what you felt about it when I first approached you about doing this with me, but to me, as an artist playing in Lubbock, there's so much talent. So many artists that have amazing, incredible talent that I wanted to get a little in-depth look at who those people were, not only to showcase their music to the public, but to also see who these artists are behind the scene, because we know a lot of them personally.
Yeah,
and
for real.
There's some really, really creative people in this town.
Yeah, and then we don't know all of them, and we kind of would like to.
Absolutely.
This is going to be a great way to do it with the Rhythm and Roots.
Well, and then I think tying the venue in, you know, the venues that support local music, like today we're at the Ranch House or the Canyon House here at Spirit Ranch.
At Spirit Ranch, yeah.
And we're also partnering with a lot of other venues where the artists play. And, you know, if it wasn't for the venue support, we wouldn't have the places to play like we do.
We know what our favorite places are at.
Yeah.
We're going to be going there.
Yeah. So Rhonda and I together are the Hub City Radicals, and do you want to tell the story how that came to be? Or?
Yeah, it's not I don't have a short story in my entire life, so it's a long story. I don't know how to condense it, but I met you through Owen, playing with Owen Franklin, who plays with us sometimes as a trio with the Hub City Radicals. We were playing in Rhonda and the Radicals, and then I met you through him, but I met him through the first band I was in with Lance Fry. He's the one who brought me into this whole scene in Lubbock by going to the Sunday night jam at the Spoon. I met Lance, and he invited me to join his band called Bad Monkey. So through that, I met Owen, and then Owen moved back to town, and then I was playing with him, and I met you, and he got busy, and I got not as busy, and then you and I realized that we could write songs together. We'd kind of been doing that with Owen, and then we had more time to work together, and it has come to this. I don't even know how, but this is groovy, and I like it a lot.
Well, it was so organic, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know, how we came together.
Nothing was planned. It just kind of just happened.
Well, and, you know, the songwriting thing that we do together, you know, I've been a songwriter for most of my life. As a kid, you know, I wrote a lot of poetry. Wow. And I didn't correlate it with songwriting, but I wrote a lot of poetry as a young kid. And then when I was 16, I wrote my first song and didn't really start playing an instrument till I was really in my 20s. And then I've been playing for about 25 years with a little hiatus in there. But songwriting and poetry have really always kind of gone hand in hand with me.
Sure,
so,
yeah.
And then when you and I kind of got together and were playing, it was just such an organic thing.
I know we like the same kind of a vibe.
Yeah.
and
writing the song. It seems like it's come easy for us. I mean, not easy, but
kind of easy.
It's been
we wrote our
easier
first song
than normal.
in one evening.
Yeah, we've written quite a few songs together.
It's been kind of easy.
Well, and then we got to the we got the opportunity to look at this podcast thing. And I'd been wanting to do one for a while, and then the opportunity came up to collaborate with the city, and it just seemed like the perfect partnership, And same way with you and I. So, but to me, what's exciting about it is not only showcasing the local talent and the venues, but we've talked about doing some other exciting things. Covering some events that are happening in the city.
Making an event, making
some traveling
a festival,
artists
something.
coming through.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to do that are going to be exciting and going to be really fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of great guests.
We've already had some great guests. I mean, the episodes that we've filmed so far have been, there's a couple of them that I'm like, wow.
I can't wait to see
I know
them.
this guy's good, but man, that's really good.
Yeah.
Well, and I think what makes it so interesting to me as we're hosting the show is finding out more about these people.
I found out things that I didn't think I knew everything anyway, but I found out things that I really was not necessarily surprised, in a bad way, but surprised in a way to find out, and I've enjoyed that. Yeah.
Well, and I think getting an inside look as to where these artists have gotten their start, how they got involved in music, what their influences were. Some of them have been church. Some of them have been, came from musical families. Some of them just are the only musical phenom in their family,
I know.
And
I got musical people all over this town in my family.
Yeah, you really do.
I do.
Yeah, y'all are one of those musical
I'm always
families.
like, oh, that's my cousin. That's my cousin.
Well, we've interviewed them, and they're great,
and
too.
that's just one. I think there's other cousins to come later on. I didn't ever write a song when I was a teenager or write poetry or anything, but I just always had them in my head. I didn't ever really write them down. And I didn't start singing in front of anybody until I was in my 40s. I was never ever pursued it, never could have dreamt it, never could have thought that I would be doing anything like this. And then, you never know what's going to happen in life.
That's right.
You never know. Can be a late bloomer if you want to be. It's all right.
That's right. So this podcast is called LBK Rhythm and Roots.
Right.
It's going to be aired on the city's TV channel, My LBK Connect. It's going to be on YouTube, and we're going to have the audio on some other platforms as well.
That's going to go out all over.
That's right.
Because of Lubbock being a music-friendly city.
That's right. And it's a podcast for musicians by musicians, which I think is very unique in the fact that, we are songwriters. We do perform 2 to 3 nights a week here in town. We're in the business with these people. We have relationship with them. And I think it's a really neat dynamic that
it is.
That we are also musicians.
We're working, so we can't go see other acts most of the time.
I know.
This is a great way to get to
I know.
hear
It's
them
almost like a guilty pleasure being able to get them in here and have a little personal time with them, a little mini concert,
Yeah, no kidding.
And I think it's one of those things that it's so easy to work with these guys. They're all, everybody that guys and gals, everybody we've interviewed has been professional and top talent. Mm-hmm. This town has such a diverse group of talent. I mean, we've got a huge singer-songwriter base. And I mean, I knew it was
one thing
here.
I did learn. I had no idea it was that big.
It's really big. And a lot of the artists that we have, every artist, honestly, that we've interviewed so far has had some original music. Mm-hmm. They have written some music, which I find very, very interesting that most of the artists have some original music.
I've heard tale from other programs or, throughout the years about the people who come from Lubbock from way back, all the famous ones that have left or whatever, that there is something unique about this area for writing songs that for some reason, everybody has their own opinion of why that is, but there is something here that you do a lot of thinking around here. You think about a lot of things around here.
Or the wind.
I don't know if it's because it's vast or you got a big sky to look at and you just kind of naturally come to contemplating things.
There's the roots here. I mean, it's a musical community.
Yeah. A lot of inspiration.
A lot of history, a lot of rich history, a lot of rich venue history, not only with artists, but with venues over the years.
More and more venues all the time.
And we're going to be
being
focusing
added.
on those. You know,
Yeah.
we're going to do some episodes on music history, the history of Lubbock music, and the old time venues, the dance halls, and the old clubs that
those
we used to
back,
have.
please.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got some guests lined up that were involved, maybe not in the early days, but kind of in the 70s, 60s, and 70s here. You know, we've got some guys that are coming on the show that have got some really good knowledge of the history of Lubbock.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's some people here that know things that I'm like, what are you, a dictionary?
I know.
A walking dictionary? Yeah. I don't remember things that well.
You want to play one of our originals?
Yeah, I'm always forgetting which is the first one we wrote.
Next Train.
Okay, 'cause that's the one that I think was so easy. Oh, well, because that one, I already did have that song in my mind for many, many a year, but I had plagiarized the music. That's right, you're the one that brought that song to life for me by making the music different, because I couldn't
I had a
use
piece
that
of
music as
music
plagiarized.
that I had written, and I didn't have any words for it. But I kind of had an idea of where the song needed to go, and then you brought that song over.
Yeah, I've been waiting to sing that
and
song
we kind
forever.
of formed it. So
Yeah.
it's really a.
Because it's kind of a true story. I really want to do this.
All right, here we go.
I'm going to do it. Next train that comes by here, I swear I'm gonna hop on it. I said I was gonna do it all my life, and I'm doing it today. Tired, I'm so tired. Tired of not getting what I want. Tired of not having what I need. When all I ever wanted, all I ever needed was free. Came a time in life when I thought everything I ever done was wrong. And everyone I ever knew, including me, is gone, gone, gone. Wired, I'm so wired. Well, I don't even really know what I mean. But I know I want to go back to 93, when all we ever wanted, all we ever needed was free. That's the train going by, and I didn't do it again.
That was a fun song to write.
It was. I'm so glad that it's finally out, that I don't have to think about it anymore.
Well, and, I think we're actively trying to record a lot of our original music, and, I think we're going to submit for the Lubbock Music Now thing. That's going to be fun for us to do and get in the studio and put some of this stuff, get it engineered and produced where we can really put it out there. I think that's what's going to be fun.
Yeah. Which is, again, something I never could have seen coming in my 30s. Are you crazy? Sometimes I joke that I'm actually in a coma and I'm just lying there making all this stuff. This is what else you're going to do in a coma.
That's right.
I'm going to do this and that.
These episodes are going to drop weekly, and we're going to do this through the fall and then take a little break and come back next year and do a second season. And I think there's going to be some exciting things. We should be doing
some live stuff. And
absolutely. And we've
traveling.
We've talked about doing a music fest, or LBK Rhythm and Roots Music Festival this summer.
I mean, that just sounds like it should be a music fest.
I know.
Rhythm and Roots.
I mean, it's pretty natural flow to
it.
It's going to be a lot of fun too. So be looking for that.
Yeah.
I'm excited about getting that going.
I will be. We've been writing songs and drawing on our inspirations, which I'm sure if I were to ask you, who do you think I love the most? What would your answer be as far as an artist goes?
Jason Isbell. Lucinda Williams.
There you go, Lucinda Williams.
I mean, it's one of the two. It's a
well, they might as well
toss-up.
be the same person. Yeah. Lucinda Williams is my
Was that one of your
favorite.
biggest influences
Always.
as your music career started? I mean, how did you get...
Oh, even way before that. I just always loved music. I'm going to brag a little bit and get to say that my very first concert was Elvis Presley here in Lubbock, Texas. I was a little kid, but I was all over it. I was just like, wow. I mean, I just even knew then that music held a power like no other. Like that. I was mesmerized by that Elvis concert because I already listened to his records all the time and did little shows and all that.
Was like.
Oh man, it was just unreal. I was just a little kid, couldn't understand why bras were flying up there. I'm like, what's going on here? Okay, whatever.
Yeah, now you know.
No, I mean, I never felt that way about Elvis. He was just like, the king. But later on, when I knew what, if I was going to be an artist, what I would want to do would be Lucinda Williams. When I discovered her, I was like, she says what I wanted to say. She does what I want. I mean, she just.
Well, your voice has that bluesy, deep tone to it. It's so rich.
Okay.
So did you sing when you were a kid, or was this something
just
later?
To myself, or I mean, with my sisters, we did little shows to Elvis records, and of course, I sang in the car, belting it out to all the stuff I love, and I like to rock, so I'm like belting out Rage Against the Machine and stuff like that, and love that. But if I were going to just do it myself, I can't just be doing Rage Against the Machine. So I can definitely do Lucinda Williams, and that's much more how I feel anyway, most of the time, and like to get that kind of out. So writing songs with you was just real easy about that, because that is kind of that Americana sound, or feel or whatever.
How did you get your start singing?
Just because of a broken heart, because of coming back to Lubbock, which I never thought I would from here. But I think there's like two kind of people from Lubbock. You stay or you leave immediately as soon as you graduate high school. And that's what I did. Adios, I'm back. Never coming back here. But I did come back here, and that's too long of a story to tell. But I was encouraged at that time because I was doing karaoke, because singing and music heals me. And then my family, Jason, Duncan, and I was living out there on the compound, I still am, encouraged me to go to the open jams. So I did. And that's where I met Lance, and I met Jesse Blue and John Sprott, and they were the ones running the jam. And it was so much different, so much better than karaoke, which I love karaoke. But at karaoke, you don't feel this music coming up from the floor by unbelievable players that you're like going, wait, where am I again? It was just unreal. It started to heal me almost immediately. And then when Lance was all like, you want to join my band, I was just kind of like, excuse me? And it changed everything. I mean, I have to really give it all to Lance, because he's the one that...
Well, what a great guy and what a great talent.
Love him, yeah. And it just really did. It just made all the difference just to do it live, to feel that feeling coming up through the floor of those instruments. Just makes it super easy just to if you love the song anyway already, just if you already sang it for 40 years in your car by yourself, you can just do it on stage too. And it just felt natural. And I was like, well, maybe I should be doing this. And I felt better. So,
well, and I think what's so encouraging about your story is now that you've been around town playing for so long, people ask me, they're like, so Rhonda's been doing this for like ever. And I'm like, not really. And it blows people's mind that you haven't been a professional singer your whole life. I mean, that's the kind of talent you have. And so your story always amazes me because you've played with, the greatest guitarists in town. You've played with every one of them as a duo. It's amazing the talent that you've played with.
That's why I'm like, I'm in a coma. There's no doubt about it. And I love my coma. Yeah. Yeah, it's been great. And now, as we were talking the other day, everybody that I've played with, either individual or whatever, is now in the Hub City Radicals in a way.
I know, we're all in a band together. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? But it's a fun band. The Radicals is a good fit for the name, too.
It is, yeah.
I got my start kind of the same way. I grew up, none of my family was musicians. My dad and uncle played a little bit in high school, but now I do have some second cousins that played a lot of classical music, were in some really big orchestras. And but as far as, singer-songwriter type stuff, I'm really the only one. I wrote poetry and stuff,
So you always felt that even as a kid?
Yeah, and music's always been an influence for me. It's always been something that's, kind of like you said, it's healed me. It's been that thing for me that has connected with me, through emotion or through sound. Either way, it's always been a connector for me. And but when I started putting pen to paper, it was a different experience with it. I think that.
What were you writing about at that time?
Just stories. It was kind of storytelling. It was a lot like what we write, that type of feel. But, I was 16, 15 years old when I wrote my first song. So it was pretty cheesy. It was pretty corny, but I still remember it. I'm not going to play it today, but I'll play it for you sometime.
Oh, we should just add that into our repertoire.
I know, right?
Let's make that into a song.
But I started, I played cello in junior high band, and I was always pretty musically inclined. I could get on a piano and play, but I've never had a lesson in my life. Never really had anybody. I've had guys show me things over the years, but it's always kind of been a play-by-ear thing. And so it's handicapped me some, but it's also given me an advantage in some ways, Oh,
I understand that. Well, I had somebody tell me when I said I was going to be in a band at, so late in life and not any training whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Well, are you going to know what they're talking about when they're talking about it start on? I'm like, no, I'm not going to know what they're talking about. Well, I still don't know what they're talking about. I just go with it.
I picked up the guitar at 21 years old. I'd played on it some off and on, but really picked it up to learn to play it. I was determined, okay, I'm going to play guitar. And it was about a year of locking myself in the spare bedroom. It was horrible. I bought a chord poster, with all the chord chart, with all the chords on it, and just started learning chords and banging out country tunes. I was one of these weird kids at 12 years old in the 90s. I was listening to Hank Williams Sr., or Marty Robbins. My grandparents, both sets of grandparents had a lot of old country music influence. They had all these records laying around, the old record player.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd put, Charlie Pride on or George Jones or Merle Haggard. And so those were my early influences. And so I think a lot of my songwriting tends to go to that kind of Merle Haggard type feel. And then also that Americana. I've got a lot of Americana influence. I've played with a lot of guys that have made it big, in the Americana scene. So that's another one of my loves is that style of music, the Texas country kind of crossing over into that Americana music. But
I just love everything. And that's what I'm hoping this show, well, not hoping, this show is going to be talking about and to every kind of artist. Every kind of genre.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because music is healing all the way across the board. If you want to feel sad, you can listen to some sad country, or if you want to feel happy, you can listen to, some Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, well, that's not what I listen to when I'm happy. But,
that's what makes me happy.
That's right. Well, and I've played with some local bands, too. I started out with Owen Franklin. We had a band called Via 1585, and we played around town early 2000s, and then we kind of shifted gears, and we had a band that played for about 3 years around town called Country Mojo. And we played for several years, pretty steady at a couple bars, and a lot of honky-tonk music, a lot of cover music, you know, a lot of dance hall stuff.
I know that was good.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
I love playing with
And then I
Owen.
took a little hiatus, you know. I had some live things come up and kids, and so I took a little break, and I've been back playing for 2 or 3 years now, and I love what we've been doing the last year or so, you know, the thing that you and Owen and I have been able to do together.
It's flying by quick.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yep. More to come, too.
That's right.
More songs.
Right. How about let's play, Cold, you want to play Cold Red Clay?
Yeah. This is the one that we're going to record first. Is this one in a G, too? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Down at that yellow house Canyon Bridge, I'll bring the earth,
I'll bring the wine. We'll have a real good time. This daily grind been getting to me, and I know you've had one hell of a week. Let's leave these city lights behind. Do it quick before we lose our minds. Dark starry nights in the Milky Way, a howling coyote on a lost highway. Get that peaceful, easy feeling, babe. Sink our toes in that cold red clay. Sink our toes in that cold red clay.
see your face by the glow of the campfire. Oh, how you sparkle and you shine. Sing your song on this old guitar while that river sings harmony. Yeah, that river sings harmony.
Dark starry nights in the Milky Way, a howling coyote on a lost highway. Get that peaceful, easy feeling, babe. Sink our toes in that cold red clay. Sink our toes in that cold red clay. Sink our toes in that cold red clay.
I think for me, in my songwriting process, what the way that it's always worked for me, not always, but 90% of the time is I have a piece of music. You know, I'll play around on the guitar and figure out a chord progression that feels good to me, and then I'll have some ideas jotted down about, you know, ideas for songs, a thought or something somebody says or something I see a sign somewhere, and I'll jot it down. But for me, musically is where I get my inspiration. You know, I come up with a piece of music and then
come up with that from your head, or is it something?
Yeah, it's just, you know, sitting around playing in just different chord progressions, working in different keys, trying to find things that work, you know, and sometimes they really don't sound that great. Sometimes you get some good ones, you know, but for me, that's how it's worked. Ideally, the ideas for the song, they've come from different places, you know, I mean, personal experience. I think some of the greatest songs that I've written that I think are my better songs are ones that are from personal experience where I've lived that song.
Yeah.
You know, and I know you've got some that we've wrote together that have been hard to sing because they're...
Oh, yeah. You remember that time I said, I got one right here. I'm going to sing it. And I didn't get through 2 lines. I started crying.
I know. It's funny.
I can't do this.
It's funny how, you know, when you've lived the song and you put it... To me, songwriting is the most vulnerable thing that I do as a musician.
Yeah.
You know, because we can go play 2 and 3 and 4 hours of cover songs and it doesn't... There's no nerve factor involved. Everybody knows the song. Everybody knows the words. Mm-hmm. But when you craft something from nothing and it's your own, it to me, playing that, especially in front of other musicians and other singer-songwriters, it's vulnerable to me. Do you feel that way?
I don't know. I mean, somewhat. I don't know.
And for me, it's more so... It's more so just the putting it out there and wanting a good reaction. You know, I think it's and we've gotten a really cool reaction from some of our music.
I've been blown away by that. I've just been like, y'all are crazy.
So how before we started writing songs, how did you?
I have stacks and stacks of songs that I've written.
I've seen
but
your
they're
books.
all, like I said, they're all plagiarized, or they don't have anything at all because I always have to be singing something, and so I listen to a lot of like undercurrents on the.
So you take a melody from another song and
if
then
I don't
put
know
your
the song, I'm
words to
going to
it.
sing something to it. I'm going to sing something. And then a lot of times, like you said, like a lot of times I'm going, oh, I just have to say, you know, it doesn't make any sense. But a lot of times I'm singing along to somebody else's music and I'm like, that could be a great song. I'm driving though, I won't remember it or whatever, you know. But if I do, it's just a situation where it's like, to you, can you change the music on this? Because this is a good story, but this is somebody else's music that I sang over.
Sure.
Know?
But your ideas, most of your songs are personal experience, aren't they?
Some of them are. I can't usually go there because I usually can't get through a song. So I'll have to make it just be pieces of it. Or if it is personal, I'm not ever going to tell anybody that that's a personal song.
Sure.
Because if I go ahead and say that, then I'm already set myself up to cry. You know. So, but I'm not really caring how anybody. Not so much caring, but I'm not concerned how somebody else is taking it. Mm-hmm. Since I did start, that's how I spent all those years not singing, because I did care what somebody, how they were going to judge me or whatever. And then finally I was kind of like, excuse me, you're already halfway through your life and you're being really stupid. Just go ahead and sing.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm so glad you did, because you're such a talent.
And the same with songs. I'm like, you know, I'm just glad I wrote it. You know, I'm just, you know, glad somebody put music to something that was in my head, and that I can sing it. And I mean, what else are you going to do in life? Things that you don't want to do? No, not me anymore. Yeah. I think we're on the same wavelength of that. And that's why this is working pretty good. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and I think, you know, the way that we write songs together is different than I've done it with other people before. I haven't co-written much, but when I have, more of the time than not, you know, we've collectively come up with an idea. But I think for you and I, we've kind of gotten together, and you've always brought an idea, or I've always had a song started, and then it's really just organically formed and been real easy to finish those songs.
It really has, and we've got some more that are just this close.
I know.
We like trains, and so that's
the hardest part, is finishing the song.
I know.
You know, starting one and getting halfway through it and getting a chorus, and then trying to figure out how to really produce the song and build the song where it sounds good. To me, that's the hardest part.
That's the harder part.
Really
I just coming up with the words. The lyrics is a story, but it's all like, here you go. Make that a song, please.
I have to have some help sometimes, because there's guys that are way more talented at it than me.
Go ahead, finish it. Yeah. No, I do appreciate. I mean, I've only written one other song with anybody else. Well, no, me and Owen wrote a song, but he really did most of it. I added a few lyrics. And then Lance and I wrote a song together called Table 23.
Well, we've wrote some together with Owen, a handful, two or three.
Those are some
maybe.
that are just, we haven't really finalized them, but they're right there. So we will be saying that pretty soon. But yeah, Lance was the first person I ever wrote a song with, and that was easy too. We just kind of had an idea. I don't even remember how we had this idea. I think it started out as a joke. We made it some kind of a joke, and then it turned into a real thing. And that was easy. And then you. I don't know. I'm sure glad of it.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
He moved away, and then that was all over.
Well, now he's back.
I know he's back now, but for a while I was like, oh, shoot.
Well, and let's talk about, our band, the Hub City Radicals. I know some people are calling it a super group. I mean, there's some talent in there. We've got Owen Franklin on lead guitar. We've got you on vocals. We've got Lance Fry on bass, and he's probably going to be on vocals and guitar at some point during the night.
That's what's great about it is it can be switcherooed up. Y'all can just switch things and play other things.
And then we've got Robert Smith on drums, and sometimes Steve Anderson on drums. And man, what a fun time that is.
Brent Smith.
Oh yeah, we've got Brent from time to time on mandolin and fiddle.
Yeah. So it is a super group, really.
Yeah.
I'll call it that. I don't mind calling it that.
It's a fun group anyway.
Fun for sure. Yeah. So that is going to be a super group, and it's my hope that it stays a super group for a long time, and that we just continue to write songs.
Well, as the Radicals, we play a bunch. We play 2 to 3 nights a week, and I think for me, my goal with us is to keep writing music. Keep putting that original music. I love playing our songs in our show, especially the live band stuff is so much fun. And I don't know about you, but I would love to play as much full band shows as we can.
It's so fun. Because I like when we're doing acoustic sitting down, it's all great. I like that and everything. But standing up full band is just...
There's the energy is different.
Yeah, it's a little bit more freeing.
Well, and I'm hoping by the end of the summer we can have, pretty much a full album of original music recorded.
I hope so, because then I don't have to have the lyrics in front of me.
That's right. Well, we'll get them recorded. Yeah. I think my vision for the podcast is this first season is to really spotlight some of the great talent we've got. All of it's great.
This is so exciting. I know.
And
we've only just tipped the iceberg.
I know.
I mean, it can just go on forever.
You know what I think's so cool about it is we've got country artists, we've got R&B artists, we've got pop artists, we've got singer-songwriters, we've got some diehard Americana artists.
And great venues that...
Yeah.
I mean...
And the diversity of the show, I don't know if I really realized it until we started interviewing people, but the diversity of music, there's not just, one jazz band. There's tons of jazz bands. There's tons of R&B music. There's tons of country bands. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun.
It is going to be a lot of fun. And, and we all the times that we can go on location, that should just be loads of fun.
Yeah, the live shoots
interactive.
And cover some live events.
With some, people, the music lovers, the fans out there, the people who love to go.
Right.
Because that's where really it wouldn't matter about the artist or the venues if people aren't there.
That's right.
Because they want to hear the music. Yeah.
Well, and I think probably one of the coolest things, the coolest element of this whole deal for the viewers and the listeners is getting to see who people are off stage. Just like us, we go watch somebody or we play with somebody, but until you really sit down and talk to them and, what's your day job? What's on your playlist right now? What are you listening to? We know Rhonda, it's Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, it is Rage Against the Machine and Rush right there. I keep it with the R's. I keep it simple.
But I think the viewers and listeners are going to get an in-depth look at how big and diverse the music scene is. And we've got some venues that are absolutely gorgeous, that have great sound.
I know.
They're so gracious with the artists, I know.
Lubbock's always
we're
been
very,
known for
very
having
blessed
so
to
much.
have the music scene that we have. It's a lot of fun playing in Lubbock.
Thank goodness for us, right? Yep.
That's right.
Keep on rocking.
That's right.
Or boot scooting.
Yeah, or whatever you prefer.
Bluesing it up or whatever.
Yeah. So how about let's play Maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is my favorite of the ones we wrote.
know what it feels like to have somebody to come home to. Maybe in my next life it's you. Maybe it's you. I wonder who you are. I wonder how we'll meet on a cloudy day on some crowded city street. I won't see it coming, no, I won't see the signs. That's how I know it'll be right this time. Maybe in my next life I'm gonna do everything right. Maybe in my next life I'll know. I'll know what it feels like to have somebody to come home to. Maybe in my next life it's you. Maybe it's you. Once again, we are the core of Hub City Radicals, and you can catch us duo, trio, or full band. Usually, not always. Alex will post it on Facebook. I usually do not, but Alex
Yeah,
has got it
my
covered.
wife posted on
Yeah, she
Facebook,
does.
and
She's
it's the
great
Hub
at
City
it.
Radicals
She
page.
puts great pictures and great everything, and she shows where we're at. You can find it on all of our personal pages, Rhonda Taylor, Jason Robertson, or collectively as Hub City Radicals. You might also even find it under Rhonda. I mean, there's a couple
I
other,
love Lubbock music.
Yeah, there's a few places that it's at.
I'll be looking for an album. We're starting to get in the studio, so I'm hoping by the end of the year we'll have an album out.
I say that definitely by the end of the year we're going to
think
have
so.
something out. And then we will definitely let you know all the places that it will be.
And the podcast, you can watch the podcast on the City of Lubbock's TV channel, My LBK Connect. The name of the podcast is LBK Rhythm and Roots. And we're so excited to bring you this first season. The guests we've had so far have been amazing. And every one that we do, it just keeps getting better and better. And it just keeps getting richer in music and creativity. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And I know we're having fun. And I'm enjoying seeing the artist. And it's going to be on YouTube as well. We'll be sharing it on all the social media platforms. And so be looking for it. It's going to be an exciting show. And look forward to bringing you all the best of Lubbock's local music and the venues that support them.
Mm-hmm. Stay tuned.
That's right. It's so easy every day living in Lubbock, the one and only LBK.
'Cause we got rock and roll, we got the blues, we can honky-tonk in our cowboy boots, and through the dust in the rearview mirror you can see our rhythm and roots. Through the dust in